What's up, April? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Taylor Hinton Speaks His Mind, the number one online health and fitness podcast for millennials who want to lose 20 pounds and tone their legs. Today is Form Friday. It's just going to be me today. Angela is in Florida. She's got some other stuff going on. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, go and spend. This is like her last. Um, this is her last day in Florida with my sister for her birthday. So I was like, you know what? Do your thing, girl. And I will see her. Unfortunately, it's going to be like super, super late tomorrow night. She's going to be home by like 11. Man, is it a long ass time to not have your partner hanging out? It's a very weird feeling to be going through daily operations, especially when you work from home, right? And she works from home too. So we always are like seeing each other and chatting with each other and talking to each other about how things are going and wins and all that kind of stuff. And then just not seeing her at all, you know? I mean, like we've been doing some FaceTiming and we text every day, but man, it is challenging to say the least. But I can definitely tell you that I'm very excited to see her in more than one way. So let's get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we got that going on. Perfect. So as you guys all know, we are basically done with the old community chats. I haven't deleted them, the community channel communities. I haven't deleted weekly challenges, macro masters, Hinton Nation community, just in case there's things that I want to go through and look at, or who knows, maybe they're going to serve a purpose down the road. And I don't know. Part of me is like a little bit attached to them, I guess. You know, there's been a lot of cool shit that we've shared over the last year plus inside these communities. So, yeah, I didn't want to get rid of them. But you guys only have access to Lift and Learn, and you know where to find that. That's at the bottom of the Today page, and that's where you guys have your videos posted up. We don't have a ton in here, but we will go through them, of course. It should be a relatively quick one, unless anybody has questions that they want to pop in as well. And by all means, like put them in the chat. I'll make sure I get to them before I end the call. Last little piece of housekeeping here. I have this pinned up from a few months ago, 5 months ago, I guess, where I did a full lower body and shoulder and back stretching routine playlist on YouTube, and I pin that at the top of the Lift and Learn community. Now, you all know that I don't put mandatory stretching exercises inside of your workouts because the purpose of our workouts is to drive progress. Yes, of course, stretching is good for progress ultimately, but I wanted to put in the most important things in terms of driving the results that you want. And then, if and when you start feeling tight or sore and you need to do some stretching, by all means, do it. You don't need me to babysit you and say, hey, make sure you're stretching and doing your QL stretch and your hamstring stretch and your couch stretch. Like, if you have a muscle that feels tight, stretch the muscle. You don't need to have a specific name for it and a specific thing you're doing. Your body is fluid. Just stretch it in a way that feels like you're relieving that tightness. And on top of that, we've got this playlist. So if you were to just click on that link, it'll take you straight over to my YouTube page where I have this entire playlist where you can go through all of them um, and take a look and see what they are. Best way to do these stretches, I would say, is to hold them for 2 minutes at a time. After 30 seconds, the muscle starts to decompress and relax a little bit, and that'll let you to get into a deeper stretch. And then after that, um, you're able to, you know, access greater ranges of motion. But if you're only stretching for like 30 to 60 seconds, then you're kind of just alleviating whatever pain you have right now or tightness you have right now. It doesn't actually, oh, you guys probably can't see the page right now. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do full screen, stop sharing this window, and then I'm going to share my whole screen instead, desktop. There we go. Cool. So you can see that now. So yeah, if you click that link, it comes to this page. And again, 2 minute stretches because a minute only relieves whatever you're feeling right now, but it just kind of keeps you at the same level of flexibility. 2 minutes on a consistent basis will help you increase range of motion and long term decrease any types of pains that you have. I like to do just three. Like I really just stick with three. There's a million that I could do, but I'm not going to spend 6 hours stretching every day. So I do the couch stretch, I do butterfly stretch, and I do a hamstring stretch. Butterfly is when you just have your feet together and you push your knees down towards the floor. And then I just do like a really basic hamstring stretch where I stick my feet, both legs out in front of me and stretch them. Okay. But these have all been things that I've incorporated in my routine based on what I'm feeling I need the most. So go through these, try them out, let me know how they feel. And this is, as I'm going through it, I'm noticing this is all of our mobility exercises. So a lot of these you will notice are call them like activation exercises that you do in the warm up sometimes, but most of them are just going to be straight up static stretching exercises. So, with that out of the way, let's get into our videos that we have for right now. So, we've got April up first, 260 pounds. Started with 255 and then threw on another 2.5. This is my third set. April, love to see it. Love that we're getting these PRs in here. Okay, she's got her straps. She's not fucking around. I hope you change your foot positioning before we get started with the lift here. Good. Better stable base. I like it. And this looks really good. I think April, next time that you get a video over, if you could get it from the side view would be awesome. I know that might be a little bit challenging with the logistics of the gym itself, but this lift looks really good. I like it a lot. Next stage for you, I'm going to unshare my screen for a second just because I'm going to pull up your profile, April, and see what we have next on the agenda for you, okay? Because you're lifting some pretty heavy ass weight, and it might be time for us to shift over to doing a little bit more volume to build some more muscle and increase metabolism too. I'm just going to pull that up because I am curious. I do want to take a look at it while we're here. We've got, ooh, you know what? We'll do this. There you go. Training. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, you're due for a new program next week. Yeah, you're going to get some more volume. So you're not going to lift as heavy as you have in the past for a little bit. But what we've done is we've established some newfound strength for you. And that means that you're going to be able to apply this newfound strength to higher volume workouts. So you'll notice, April, that the reps are going to be a lot higher than they were before. You're going to have to lower the weights, but the same principles and philosophy still applies. You still need to train with a lot of intensity, and the weights still need to be very challenging. Okay. So I imagine, like, let's say you're doing whatever that was, like, what, 6 reps, 4 reps or something. If we're going to, let's say, 8 reps, then I would encourage you to try out 225 and see how that feels. You probably, when you make that change with the reps, you'll be really surprised with how much stronger you feel with higher rep stuff. So don't automatically go to something super light. Okay, Miranda, still finding my struggle with this one. I mainly feel this in the tendon that holds the hamstring and the glutes together, right under my butt. Not the hamstring or glute itself. Please help me find out what I'm doing wrong, or if I just need to stretch more before doing this one specifically. I'm not a huge fan of doing static stretching before weight training, and here's why. When you do static stretching, no, there's some scientific terms that explain this. I was going to say better, but I can probably explain it better. Um, Essentially, when you are doing any kind of static stretching prior to exercise or physical exertion, you can decrease the muscle potential, strength potential of the muscle by 25%, which is a massive margin. What it does is it signals to your brain to relax that tissue and let it calm down. So if you go from like this really relaxed state with your brain and body into doing heavy, intense weight training, which is what we should be doing with every lift, every set, every rep, then you're just not going to get as much out of it. So that's why there's 2 different labels for warm-ups. There's a static warm-up where it's just like static stretching, static meaning you're in one position and holding that position, in dynamic stretching or dynamic warm-ups. And that's what we always do. That's why our warm-ups are not easy. That's why we're doing like some type of ab exercise, some type of mobility exercise. You're in motion when you're doing those warm-ups. So I don't want anybody to do any static stretching before they're doing their weight training unless you and I and your physician, which could be either a GP or physiotherapist, kinesiologist, etc., have determined that it's better for us to lay off of the intensity and focus more on the mobility and just getting some basic movement patterns in. There are some people who have that situation. Miranda actually is likely one of them, as her and I are in the middle of a conversation around an injury that she had from over a year ago, car accident, and we need to maybe make some modifications. So Miranda, I'm going to reach out to you after this too, and I think it might be worthwhile for us to explore having our RPT, registered physical therapist, involved inside of your programming. This really nice thing about having Chris involved in the programming is that, one, he specializes in sport So he understands as an athlete slash somebody who's working out with a lot of intensity, your goals are still to build muscle. So his training program that he'll customize for you will also be like paralleling in with the same philosophy that I'm applying, i.e., train hard, lift heavy, big, build muscle. But also, he has the ability to program specific movements to not just work around the injury, but to directly treat it and strengthen that area exactly. Where I would be operating outside of my scope of practice because I just don't have the credentials that he does. So that's why he's on our team. And for anybody who's like, ooh, that sounds really, really cool. I actually have this thing that's been bugging me for a really long time and we have to constantly work around it. Shoot me a message. We'll get you set up. Straight up, it's a very simple, easy investment. It's $300. It's a one-time payment. And then that moving forward allows Chris to continue making updates to your program for the next 6 months. So when you renew your program and you still want Chris, it's just another 300 and he gets involved with the programming as well. I don't pass over the coaching to him. I'm still your coach, obviously. I'm doing your check-ins, your macros. I'm helping you on with the day-to-day, the habits, everything that we're establishing to get you from version 1.0 to version 2.0. But Chris's involvement is a collaboration with me, not a full takeover on the training program itself, okay? So back to this, I mainly feel this in the tendon that holds my hamstring and glute together, not in the hamstring or glute itself. Let's take a look and see. And this is where I think, like, I really think that Miranda, we should definitely look at having Chris involved with your training. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new. I was just, you can't double multitask. Um, Cable kickback, the one that Angela had shared, where you put your foot, like your off leg, your stabilizing leg on an incline bench, which will take all the pressure off of that. And that's what you're complaining about here. You're saying that, hey, I'm feeling it a lot in tendon that holds the hamstring and glute together, not in the hamstring or glute. Oh, no, you're not necessarily saying that. You're saying it in the tendon on this one. That's fine. Yeah, when you get injured, your body compensates in different ways. The movement itself looks fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I like that you have the cable a little bit higher. This is really important, everybody. We don't want the cable all the way down to the bottom. It's just going to decrease the range of motion. When you have the cable up a little bit, it allows you to bring your foot a little bit further, or a little bit, further in front of you, and that'll increase the stretch on your glute. So I don't know if this is just because maybe the weight is really heavy or if we're just not realizing slash understanding what we want to do here. But Miranda, when you're kicking back, we want to get that full extension in the leg. Okay. So that's going to look like your knee. Your knee looks pretty damn straight. I don't necessarily need you to straighten your knee anymore, but I want to have full hip extension. So hip extension is when your leg is running parallel with your spine. See how we have your spine right here, glutes and hips, and then there's a bit of an angle that dips your leg down. We want to get that heel, because that heel is over here, right? We want to get your heel way up here because that's going to increase the contraction in your glute at the top of this exercise. You're getting a good stretch, but we're not getting that leg quite all the way up. And that right there, that peak contraction at the very top is going to be really, really helpful with this. For most exercises, the stretch is the most important part. That's why we emphasize deep ranges of motion, controlled negatives. But there are a few exercises where the contraction, the contracted position when you're squeezing the muscle, is as important or even more important than the stretch. So, for example, like a tricep push down, cable tricep presses, push downs. Those ones you actually get way more muscle fibers working at a higher rate when you're at the contracted, when you're squeezing your triceps, when your elbows are fully extended, pressing the weight down. And this one is going to be pretty much as equal as the stretch. So with that glute kickback, we want to get both happening. See, we can see it a little bit better here. Your foot finishes like basically down here. We want to get it way up there. So we've got probably a good 12 inches of distance that we want to travel still. Okay. I'd like to see us try doing this with your leg on that incline bench and see if that helps with removing the tension on the tendon on your right butt. So when you're doing your right, yeah. The movement itself looks pretty good though. Okay. And then I know that you and I right now are chatting a little bit about making some adjustments based off of what your kinesiologist had said too. So we'll make sure that we get that taken care of. Chelsea, kettlebell rack split squat. 25 pounds, 20 pounds. We don't have two 20s. Sucks you don't have two 20s. Do you have two 25s? You can also, everybody, like most exercises that call for a kettlebell, if you want to change the weight out, but you don't have the weight that you need or you want, you can use a dumbbell. Like you could just put these dumbbells on your shoulders, right? And I've done this in a couple different ways where I have like the rubber part, the flat part of the dumbbell, like directly resting on my shoulders, and then I'm still holding on gently, not like gripping it, but just holding on for stability onto the handles like this. And I've also done it where I have the handles are resting um, across my shoulders this way. And then I just kind of hold on to the weight here. Again, I'm not like gripping it or using my arm strength to hold the weight. I'm not holding them up here, God forbid, that I'm holding the weight here in like this static position, like at the bottom of a shoulder press. That would be so much energy that you're wasting. You're trying to work your legs and your core. Now you're working all your arms and everything too. Like, no, just let it rest on your shoulders and then just hold on to it gently just to make sure that it's not falling off. That would be a good alternative. Movement itself looks good though. Always good on the tempo. Love to see it. I like your posture, nice and upright. Looks like it's challenging. Got some grit on your face. Good. And then what we do want to make sure we're doing, and I have this in your notes too, but what we do want to make sure we're doing, Chelsea, is giving yourself like 10, 15, 20 seconds between legs. So you put the weight down, take a couple breaths, bring it back up, switch legs. Okay. That looks really good. I like it. Smith Machine, good mornings. Always a little bit trickier to try to find the foot positioning on this one because the bar is in a fixed position. Like to see you be able to get lower. Tempo's good. I think you just need to get a little lower. I think you need to swap the 25s out for a 10 and a 5 to start and see if you can get almost parallel. Get your back almost parallel with the floor. You're right here. This is pretty much where you stop. About a 45-degree angle. If we can get your back like right here, not quite parallel, but like, what would we call this? 60 degrees, 55 degrees, where you're really close, but you're not quite. No, 60 would be higher, right? Yeah, that's right. Like 30 degrees. There we go. Something like that. That's what I'd like to see. But I like that you're really emphasizing pushing your hips back. Everyone, the good morning is pretty much the exact same thing as a Romanian deadlift. It's just the bar is in a different spot on your body. So that's really good. Swap it out for a little bit lighter. Let's try doing that with a little bit more range of motion. You're going to feel this in your low back, everyone. Is this the same video? Yes. You're going to feel this in your low back. That's your low back has big, strong muscles that need to be strengthened. So back extensions, good mornings, Romanian deadlifts, regular deadlifts. It's not just glutes and hams. Like everything is connected together. So yeah, you will feel in your low back. That's okay. As long as you are keeping your low back extended, so your back is flat, you're not rounding your lower back, that's all good. Okay, Jasmine. Dropped a weight to work on my depth. Let me know. All right, Foo, I'll let you know. This was the big point of emphasis for us. Was getting, ooh, very good. Damn, we're close. That's so good. That's that's pretty well where we want to be. I like it. It's a little bit higher than your kneecap. It's not the end of the world though. Like you could go a little bit lower, but you could also stick here. I call it a good squat. That bar looks like it's just really just resting on your back. Like it's really just kind of chilling. Your arms look like they're just chilling. Like your arms are just holding on to the weight to make. That's good. That's good depth for sure. This is too tall. It looks too tall. Hold on a sec. There's a couple things here. One, This bar is just chilling on your back. Your arms are just relaxed. The way that I told Chelsea to just let the weights relax when she's doing the lunge is the opposite of what I want you to do with the back squat. With the back squat, this is a full body movement. Grab the bar tight, pull it down into your back, and hold it pinned against your back hard the whole time. That's going to engage your core muscles better. When you're squeezing more muscles, you're going to feel stronger, right? It just makes sense. If you were trying to curl a weight, a barbell, with one hand versus curling a barbell with two hands, more muscles working, it's easier because you have more support. There's more strength being applied to the weight. So don't just hold it there. Pull it into your back hard. Your whole body needs to be tense and strong during this. I see that there was a chat that popped up. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we'll do. Good. Thank you. Okay. You guys can see this and everything? Am I still? God. Oh, God. Oh, yes, I am still recording. Thank you, Lord. Okay, cool. Let's see if this angle is better, she says. Oh, she went to the gym for this one. Normally she does it at her school gym that she works in. Okay, what do we got? A Romanian deadlift that looks like 45 pounds. That's good. You're going a little bit lower than you need to. Right there. This is perfect. Back is flat. Glutes are stretched. Hamstrings are stretched. This is perfect technique. I absolutely love this. When you go from here to here, now low back has a lot more pressure on it. You're still you're still exercising good form, like you're pulling your shoulder blades back and everything. But once you get past that one spot, like right here, even this is just a touch lower than you need to, but let's call this perfect. Now you have maximum tension and force applied to the glutes and the hamstrings. When you go lower, any lower than this, and you're really just going to get more of your low back. And yeah, maybe you have like the strength to do that. Like that's good. That last little dip right there at the bottom. Even if you have the mobility to get down there, it's not serving you any better. You're not making more gains down there at the bottom because this is a full stretch. So now, rather than using this extra strength and energy that you have to go lower, if you just stayed right in that one spot, you now don't have to go as low, meaning that you have more energy, meaning that you can lift heavier weights. When you come out of the bottom, it almost looks like you're like using your back to pull the weight up. Like you're like almost jerking the weight up in a way. It's hard for me to explain, but I don't even want you to worry about that, okay? Because we can fix this by just stopping this exercise like 2 inches shorter. Like right here is so good. Yeah, the last little bit's just too much. Stop it a couple inches shorter, okay? And lift a lot heavier because it's all about creating that tension. Stretch times tension equals gains. You got the full stretch. You don't need to overstretch. You got the stretch that you needed was achieved. Now to create more tension, apply more weight. Good job. Really good. And I think this one was already covered, but I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, it totally was. But I just want to look at it again because Jaden actually messaged me after, and she's like, Taylor, you told me to do 125 pounds. So this isn't 125 either, right? This is, you have a 45-pound plate. Okay, you got way more than 40. You've got, that's a 5. So you've got 155 here. I knew that 125 would have been a good weight for you. So let me see. Why are you calling it 125? Probably because you're looking on the Smith machine, and the Smith machine is telling you that the weight is worth like 25 pounds or 35 pounds or something like that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what the Smith machine says. Just pretend for every Smith machine, everybody, just assume the Smith machine is 45 pounds. I know it's not. I know that it's lighter than a regular barbell. That's not the point. we just take the assumption that every Smith machine is 45 pounds purely for the simplicity of being able to track how much you're lifting each time, just to be consistent with the numbers that you're putting in the app. Because if you're at this gym right now, you're doing this 155 or technically like a 125 or something, and then a couple months later you switch gyms or you go to somebody else's gym to work with a friend once in a while, something like that comes up, then you're going to be caught up looking for the weight on the Smith machine. It's a little bit heavier or it's a little bit lighter. And then you're trying to do the calculations with the weight over here. Don't worry about it. Just make your life easier. Every Smith machine is 45 pounds. So if you actually put on a 35 and a 5, that would be the 125 that we're looking for. A lot of gyms don't have, like Club 16 doesn't have 35-pound plates. So you would just do, of course, 25 and a 10 on each side, right? 25, 10, and a 5 on each side, I believe. Either way, assume it's 45. The Smith machine is 45. Load up the rest to equal an assumed 125. Because this is really good effort, and I'm actually really impressed. I'm so glad I watched this video again. I'm really impressed with the weight that you're able to lift. But with this particular feet forward squat, I want your ass to be like hovering on the ground. It should be like your ass should be basically your hamstrings and your calves should be touching each other almost entirely. Like, consider it entirely. That's how low we're going to get into this one. It's the best way to squat in the deepest position possible. Okay? So that's it. Because everything else is a little bit older, and we definitely did this one last time. So that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for jumping in. I appreciate you. Post your biggest takeaways inside the general chat in Everfit if you are a client. And if you are not a client and you're either listening on Instagram right now or watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts and you're interested to get some one-to-one coaching, then shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll reach out, ask you a few questions. And if it makes sense, we'll book a call, get to know each other a bit better, and see if it makes sense for us to work together. All right, that's it. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing Friday. Get your steps in, everybody. If you missed a workout earlier in the week, guess what? Your responsibility to take care of it on the weekend. Have a good day.